Hello everyone, welcome to my live stream. Today I am doing something a little bit unusual for my Twitch streaming, and that is working on a digital piece. I really need to get caught up on this illustration homework, and I figured, I can't stream Inktober on Friday because I have a drawing to critique class. But Thursday, I got my homework done early, so I've got a little bit of extra time before my art history class, and I can get caught up on my illustration project. Well, I probably won't be able to get caught up in just 2 hours, but it's still something that I can do and chat with you guys while also making progress. So where I am right here is working on the colorization of the lines, and then I have a big list, hopefully I can get to some of them, a big list of, oh that's way too light, of improvements to make based on the critique I got in class on Monday, I think. Oh yeah, Monday. I can never remember what day anything is anymore. It's just all a big blur. So I've been, with this project in particular, I have been doing watercolor. Technically it's like ink pencils, but you activate them with water like you would with watercolor pencils or something. How should I do this one? And then I scan it in and do, I wanted to make this line, and do the line work, and these, dang it, that's a little too far, and these, what do you call this, tone, screen tone, do that all digitally. The idea is that it's easier to correct, and say so this is for a class, so I am acting as if my professor is my art director. And so if I were working on some project and I had an art director telling me how to improve things so that it works for the project, yeah, that's how I'm trying to do my classes, keeping that sort of thing in mind. Krona 8. Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining me. How are you doing today? Yay, I'm so glad someone joined me because it's so much easier if I can do this kind of thing while chatting with someone. And I just mean homework in general, not just Twitch streaming. I can semi-distract myself while also making progress. It's so much easier. I'm very well. How are you? I'm doing good. I am so relieved because I was working on this drawing assignment and it was due yesterday, and I didn't get it to the same level of completion I normally try to, but it's just such a relief to have it done. And I was like, that means I'm no longer behind in class because it's done. For better or worse, that project is over. So I'm doing really good. What are you up to today? Making any art? Are you an artist as well? Doing Inktober perchance? I have been doing Inktober, but again, I'm so far behind in these studio classes that I haven't been keeping up with Inktober for the last week. Oops. Sometimes I forget I did all the lines on one layer. I shouldn't have done that, but it's too late. I don't have time to deal with cutting them all apart. Just deal with it like this. And I do like doing these colored lines. I never thought of doing them like this until my illustration professor suggested it a semester or two ago. But it does make the whole drawing a lot softer, and it has more cohesion. Just a little bit, not that stark pure black color. Except I like to do that in some areas, like pupil right there. I think it looks good on the pupil. I haven't been drawing much in the past few days, so I should get back to it sometime this week. Yeah, you should. Have you been doing Inktober? I don't know if you're into that. I know some people don't like Inktober, like a little cautious, but I think it's fun. I don't do the prompts anymore because it's too much pressure. I just do what I feel like doing using ink. I think I'll leave the screen tone black on her hair though here because I think that works good. Okay, where else do ooh, screen tone here is way too dark for this shirt. Let's see, pull a color from the shirt. Maybe this kind of, oops, this kind of color. I only did the first few days and then I got behind, so I gave up. Yeah, I understand. I've never done an Inktober every single day. I mean, now I'm surprised I was even inspired to try to do it in the first place since I'm so busy with school, but even before I returned to finish my degree, I just couldn't do it. It's just, I mean, I guess that's the challenge part, but then it does suck when you sort of, the challenge just becomes like something that makes you feel bad. And that's, I think that defeats the purpose. Maybe that's one of the reasons why this time I was like, I'm not following any prompts. I'm just going to draw what I want. And I decided I wanted to draw like thematic animals. So mostly Halloween, but kind of autumn themed. I'm not really following any prompts or anything. I think the prompt thing is relatively new too, because the original challenge was just draw with ink every day for a month. I feel like that's enough to be getting on with. You don't need to add on the additional, you don't have to. Maybe some people need to. Maybe they got bored of just doing ink drawings for a month every October. I feel you there. Inktober is one of those things where I'm like, yeah, I'm totally gonna do it this year, and yeah, it never happens. It's my opinion that the fact that you and I even did any at all, I call that success. I'm not being like, I don't know what the word for it is. Lazy? No, I don't know. I really do think that it's a success to do any. Or just from my point of view as someone who has in the past struggled to continue to make art regularly, and it's really important to me to do so. So for me, doing anything at all that encourages art creation is success. I'm gonna have to fix this camera here. I forgot to paint these parts. There's just always so much. I always make it so complicated for myself. Okay, back to, I wonder if these are dark enough. Let me scoot out and see. Oops. Yeah, I think that's good. That's good enough for now. I can fix it later if it doesn't seem. I'm gonna do all these hints that I was given, all these tips. But first I gotta finish this bit. I don't want to miss anything either. I think I got it good. Yep, I got it good. Yay. Krona, do you live stream your art at all? So I'd be happy to watch you if I have the chance sometime. I don't stream often enough. I don't have that many people on my list. So even though I'm a gamer, I'd rather actually play the game, so I don't watch game streams. But I think art streams are more what I like. But my art streamers that I have been following aren't too active right now. Ah, okay. I've thought about live streaming in the future eventually, but I've never done it before. Yeah, it does take a little, at least for me, it took a little bit of an investment. I guess as long as you're doing digital art and you already have all the digital art tools and a PC that can handle streaming, then you don't really need to invest anything. But what I normally do is I have like a webcam and have top down and do traditional physical media art. So I spent like $100 on the webcam, and then eventually a couple years later I spent another 100 on a good microphone. Oopsie. Oh, I'll end up painting that anyway. But I think it's fun. It is a little nerve-wracking at first. I mean, at least it was for me. I've always liked doing stuff like being on stage and stuff. So it's not like I heard one of my classmates last night say like, I hate the sound of my voice or whatever on recording. So the project we had to do was hard. But I don't have any trouble like that, but it still doesn't take away those jitters when you've never done it before and you're like, oh God, here we go. But at this point, though, it's just like, I hope that people come because I just want to chat with people while I draw stuff. Because I think it's so fun. Especially right now when I can't, like, go to the cafe anymore to draw with people there. And technically I could, but I'm very paranoid about getting sick. I've had pneumonia multiple times in my life. I'm like, no, never again, please. But thanks to Twitch, I don't have to worry about that. Oh man, I really need to clean up some of these dots. How long have I been streaming? I can't remember. Definitely at least a couple of years. It's been, now that I think about it, it's been a pretty long while. But I started going back to university to finish my degree. So I guess that would make this my 3rd year, because I think the year before I went back was the year I started streaming. But going back to school takes, so much work. All the classes are so much work all the time. That's why I like it when I can make my homework into a streaming session. So I guess what I'm getting at is that I haven't been consistent all that time. There have been entire semesters where I haven't gotten on at all, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I'll stream on the summer. And then the university is like, hey, why don't you take summer classes? They're way cheaper and go by way faster. And I'm like, oh, okay. So there's no time to stream in the summer either. I know I need to be more consistent, though. I need to be more consistent with all of my art stuff, and I'm trying to make it into a career. And that's what I want, right? To do art as if it's a job. But that means, get up every day, have a schedule. I'm trying to work on that right now. Yikes, pneumonia, that's not fun, yeah. when I was a kid and I first got it, my mom thought I was faking. So she was like threatening me that they're gonna have to stick a bunch of needles in my back and stuff, and you know, I'm just like dying trying to breathe and stuff. Now I can laugh about it, but it was terrifying back then. And she didn't, once they came back with the pneumonia diagnosis, she didn't try to scare me anymore. I think maybe she was scared instead. And it was so weird because as a kid, it was so weird because I had just learned how to spell pneumonia in school. And then I get the disease or whatever. You call it a disease? I don't know. Sickness. Illness. It was very uncanny. But I've always had, I don't know, like I don't have any chronic illnesses, but I've always just been really weak against respiratory illnesses. When I get them, it's just nightmarish. I don't know what the heck is. My dad used to tell me that I was not exercising enough, that I needed to exercise more because that would strengthen my lungs, and that's the reason why my defenses were low. And now I'm like super athletic and I'm doing all kinds of stuff, and I got the flu 2 springs ago? No, it was 2 winters ago because it was January. And I was knocked out for like a month. It was horrible. So like, no, I don't think it has anything to do with my athletic ability or my exercise routine. I think I'm just weak. Not like looking down on myself weak, but that's just one of my natural weaknesses. So Corona, how are you hanging in there these days? Are you in a place where things are going pretty good, or is it kind of rough still? Of course, if you don't really want to talk about it, that's fine. It's just it's weird because it's this global thing that everybody has in common. It's pretty rare for you to be able to, I guess the weather is one of those things you could talk about to anyone. Now it's the pandemic. Add pandemic to the list. Ooh, that was a close one. Oh, I did get some. No. Got a little too enthusiastic right there. Okay, back to the dark blue. I always do things a little bit. I take the long way around when I do stuff like this. I'm sure it would drive some people crazy who know a faster way to do this, but it's just easier for my brain to process. Maybe it's because I like traditional art so much, or physical media art. And this is much more like how you do physical media art. A little inch at a time. Been going back to school normally until a week ago, and now we're back online for a while. It's been kind of bland, but I've been finding ways to keep my spirits up. Well, that's good. I'm glad that you're able to, sounds like you're a positive person. And I appreciate that. Because I feel like that's the only way to get through stuff like this intact. You gotta just find ways to fight back. And it's always different for different people too. What works for them. So I was definitely suffering a lot at the beginning because I've been saving up for 4 years to go to the Tokyo Olympics. I'd never gone to the Olympics before, and I knew it was a really expensive endeavor, but I love Japan so much that I was like, yeah, next time the Olympics are in Japan, that's when I'll finally go to the Olympics. And so it got announced, and I was like, yes. And I was saving up, and I was doing so good. And then they got postponed, and at this rate, I don't know if they're going to happen at all. It was when they got postponed, I was just so depressed. And my school went online and everything, too. But I finally, I mean, it's been months, but still, finally found ways. Ways to be happy, ways to stay productive. I think I got all of his, oh, his hat. Didn't get his hat. Gotta get these lines too, but I'll do that. I'll do the hat first. I mean the dots first. The screen tone first. 2020 has been such a dumpster fire. It's so true. Thing after thing. Thing after thing after thing. I thought I was fine, and then I realized, oh man, like, I'm the kind of person who loves to have parties and stuff. Especially, like, not just like house parties with friends. I love doing big family gatherings and the holidays. And then when I realized I'm gonna have to have Christmas and Thanksgiving with just my household. Luckily, I live with some family. My husband and my little brother live with me. So it's not like I'm completely alone, but it was still like, I thought that I had no more tears, and then I realized that, and I cried a little bit about that. Yeah, I guess that's good. I guess that color is good for the band. It's really light colored hat band. Oh, his skin needs a better dot color. I don't know how 2021's gonna be, but it feels like, at least since we know, since it might just be a continuation of 2020, it might not feel as bad. Because instead of being surprised by it like we were this year, it's just, you know, carry on. I think it's easier. But if there's some other, like, massive change, well, we'll deal with it somehow. We'll deal with it when the time comes. So, did you do this drawing traditionally first? Yes, indeed. Here, I'll back out real quick. So all the color stuff except for the lines and the dots, the screen tone, I did using what's called Inktense pencils. They're kind of like watercolor pencils, but it's supposedly ink in a like colored pencil form. So I drew it with graphite. Well, I drew it with graphite, and then I transferred it using transfer paper, and then I painted it, and then I scanned it in. Yes, that's the process I've been using for these. Cleaning up these dots a little bit more. Oh, I missed a spot. There we go. Now, where else? This hair, probably. Make it a little darker. Barely tell the difference, but it matters to me, so. I really can't. I can barely tell that I'm even doing anything, but that's okay. Oh, this one's sticking outside the hair. There. That's better. Yeah, let's just hope the whole decade isn't as bad. Yes, indeed. I wish I had gotten into watercolor because I really love the softness, but I've just always stuck with acrylic. Yeah, watercolor is quite different from acrylic. I've heard a lot of people who love acrylic or work a lot with acrylic, they find watercolor really difficult. But yeah, if you like the look though, I think it's worth, you know, playing with. Oh, but I think it's really important to invest in good watercolor supplies because it makes such a difference, especially the paper. If you like, stay away from those horrible, like, super cheap papers because I think that those papers are the reason why so many people think they hate watercolors because they're just awful. They don't give you a good experience. It doesn't look good. But if you can get some nice paper, then even cheaper watercolor paints will just look so beautiful and they just blend. And it's just so fun to like move the paper around and experiment with, I don't know, like using straws to blow the wet watercolor across the page, or use a sponge to get cool textures and everything. But if you got that cheap paper and it just falls apart, even though, you know, it'll be called watercolor paper, but it'll just fall apart as soon as you get it wet. If you brush too much on it, it starts pilling up. It's just miserable. Like, they shouldn't even make that paper because it's so bad. Air is so dry here recently. I'm trying not to cough too much on stream. It's been really cold here recently, so the air is just really dry as well. I've invested in some really nice watercolor ink pens lately, and they're really nice. I just don't have the technique down yet. It's definitely requiring a lot of experimentation. That's good. It's good that you've already got some pens, and pens are great because they give you a little bit more control than just like a brush with a palette of watercolor. And experimentation is great because what I've found is, even though I have watercolor books that I like, that I reference when I want some, you know, I guess advice on a technique or something, ultimately the stuff that I use the most are the techniques that I just sort of figured out and developed myself. So just leave that little dot right there. What color should I make these? I guess I'll make them the same as these. Ooh, gotta keep my eye on the clock because I do have class at 3, I think. But I've got a little time. Oops. Where's that? Did I get everything? Dots, dots, dots. Got that, got that. All of the umbrella. The coat, pants, skirt. Sweet. Now I just gotta work on the lines some more. I wonder if I should make them the same or maybe a little darker. Yeah, maybe a little darker than the screen tone. No, once again, you can't even barely tell the difference. That's okay. I mean, I do think it makes a difference overall once the whole thing has been changed from black to dark blue. don't want to miss a spot. Oh, you can really see the difference right here. Almost makes it look like the hat is glowing. Okay, now this part. Oh wait, I wanted to take the dot color and just make that. Oh, did I get that? Nope. Just make the dot color darker. And just carefully draw to the line of dark blue. There, yeah. Yeah. That looks good. Whoops. This was supposed to be a technique that supposedly saved time, but it's not really saving me time. It is easier to change things once I'm done, and that's why I'm doing it that way still. But it totally doesn't save me time, because I always do this. I always zoom really close up and get every little detail. And I gotta make sure to get the hair where I went over it with blue in the first place. It's really hard on these dark colors. I can barely tell the difference. I can barely tell whether I colored in the blue or not. The blue that got onto the strokes of hair. Oh, here I can tell though. There. Now the bottom half. Oh, someone's here at the door. Oh, I'm not gonna get it right now. I got a breakfast food delivery today because I really wanted one of those impossible breakfast sandwiches from Sherry's. And I put contactless delivery and they did not give me contactless delivery. They were like, came right up to the door, like right in my face. I was like, come on. I think they thought contactless means like they don't touch the food rather than, you know, they stay out of contact with me. But she was really nice and stuff, so I didn't say anything. I was like, oh, wow. We were only in contact for 30 seconds while I took the food out of her proffered bag. Doorbell reminded me of that. The last time I heard the doorbell this morning was when my food arrived. And then also, since I thought it would be contactless, I didn't like try to fix my hair or anything. I had my bathrobe on and my like hairnet thing that I sleep in. I was like, oh well. I had food delivered, so I think it probably not that unexpected to look like that. To look like I'm relaxing in my PJs and having a day off. Contactless delivery is the best. I really hope they keep it after this pandemic eventually ends. Ah, me too. Yes, I love it. There's so many things that I really hope they keep. Like all the online ordering and stuff. And there are some things that, so like I'm a super non-traditional university student, and so there's some things about my classes that I really hope they continue to do. So like offering remote versions of purely lecture classes. That helps so much for non-traditional students who, oops, I'm on the wrong layer, who are having to try to rush from home to work to school or something. Like if they can just remotely log in and attend the lecture via Zoom or whatever, and then save travel time, save money on parking or whatever. I think that's great. They should keep doing that. I made sure all my classes this semester were remote, but it doesn't look like it's going to be able to happen next semester. But it just saves me so much time because I don't have to pack up all my stuff, bring it to school, unpack it all, lug it around campus, and then repack it and drive home and all the travel time, and also, you know, getting more presentable for school as well. I know everybody's, you know, joking about not wearing pants and stuff, but it really does save me time not having to fix up my hair and fix up my makeup and everything. Although I still do makeup for Zoom. I just like makeup. I don't really. So if I'm giving a presentation or something, then I always dress the part or whatever. But still, you save so much time. And I know some people, depending on what department they're in, they have to wear makeup. Like if you're in the business department, you're supposed to wear a suit and all this stuff. Maybe that's just for the MBA. Master of Fine Arts in Business. I just like saving time, that's all. Saving time and money is great. So, Krona, are you in college? You mentioned school. Are you doing college right now as well? Oh, I really hope I'm not missing any black lines that I want to turn blue, I mean. I think I'm getting them all. Getting really close to done with this part. Let's see, it's about 2:15, so I've still got time. A lot of the stuff that my illustration professor recommended that I do to improve this piece and complete it are really fun, like put a texture overlay over the top and put a gradient on it and stuff. Like really easy and fun to experiment. But I've got to get these basics done first. I will be in college next year. I'm a senior in high school. Ah, I see. Do you know what you want to do in college yet? I didn't know. And I still didn't know, even though I thought I knew once I got to college, and I kept changing my mind. It took 3 semesters for me to finally, I think, 3 or 4 semesters for me to finally realize what I really wanted to do, which is illustration. And as far as I know, there's still only one university that offers illustration in my state. And I'm really glad I came here too, because I am learning so much from my classes. That's why it makes me feel bad when I get behind on my illustration projects for my classes, because I love these classes, and every time I'm getting behind, I'm like missing out on opportunities to learn amazing things and improve my work. pretty set on going for graphic design. It's something I've been interested in for a while. And these days it's really practical. Yeah. I have a couple friends who got graphic design degrees. They didn't really pursue graphic design as a career, but I think you're totally right. It's very valuable because I have to do a lot of graphic design work myself, and graphic design was something I thought I wanted to do. It was the thing I chose before I realized that what I really wanted to do was illustration. But it's like it's such a big industry. Like, everybody uses graphic design. Everybody needs like a logo or a good avatar for their social media and stuff. Yeah, there's tons of potential getting a graphic design, because you could use it to help design newspapers or whatever. So much stuff. And some people, remember my best friend, she got a graphic design degree, and I remember seeing the stuff she made for her program, which was like fonts, designing fonts and designing packaging for products and stuff. So I know graphic design goes into like book cover design as well. It's definitely a solid one. Like, if you want to do art but you don't want to have to deal with how hard it can be to establish yourself as like a fine artist or something. This outside part is going to be this dark red. Oops, I colored a little too much right here. Oop, there. And this part should be brown too. But not that little handle inside. What else? Oh, her dress. Her skirt. Oop. Oh, that's not dark enough. Hey, way darker. Oh, that's way better. Oh, whatever. It's okay if a tiny bit touches the other line. Even though this is like major huge on my screen right now, the native size is 9 by 12. So this display right now is like way bigger than 9 by 12. This is like, I don't know, 3 or 4 times bigger. So displayed at its native size, you wouldn't even be able to see if I slightly color one line the color of the neighboring line. And then what it's meant to be for is the interior of a book, and that's, I can't remember the exact measurements, but it was more like a 5 by 7 type thing. So it's gonna be even smaller. Yeah, this is looking pretty good. Oh, gotta change my position real quick. Let's see. 2:30. Oh, okay. I got a notification on my Garmin, and I wasn't sure what it was trying to tell me, because for some reason Garmin doesn't support Unicode font. So when any of my notifications are in Japanese, it does not display. It just displays a bunch of boxes. Come on. When we are in modern times now, you can put Unicode on a fitness watch. Let's see. But anyway, it was warning me that I have about half an hour before I gotta get going. Yes! Let me save this. I haven't saved this whole time, which is actually bad. So now, moving my tablet out of the way, I'm going to open this in, hold on, I'm giving it one more look over. Yeah, that's good. I don't think I missed anything. Okay, so I'm gonna open this in Photoshop. Oh, no, wasn't in the right folder. Oop, there. There we go. And so I guess first I'll fix this. So my idea had been, you know, it's supposed to be a bright day, like a bright, clear, sunny day. I'll do 25 to start with. Or, come on, 25. And so I was thinking, oh, blue sky, so everything will be blue. But it's looking too cool, and so one of the things recommended was actually to make it warm, make it like a yellow color. So let's try that and see. Huh, it's getting kind of green. Oh, maybe like that, like that. The hands are literally perfect. How the hell do people do that? Well, thank you for saying that. Actually, what really helps me is I use this program right here. I don't know if you can see that. It's covered up by my little banner thing. It's called DAZ Studio. And you can, it's mostly for like 3D modeling and making scenes and stuff. But I just use it so that it's like you have one of those little posable dummies that you can pose the arms and legs and everything. And so I can make my own reference image for poses using that. So that's what I use when I really don't know what I should be doing with how this camera angle would work. Okay, I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to do this. Fill with a pattern. Ah, dang it. Maybe I will, because this, you can't see it until you put it on there. Okay, I'll just leave that like that, and then I will do layer style, pattern overlay. Oh, that's too small. Well, let me go through them first. I think I want a more organic one. So the idea was to get some more interest into this wall here. It's supposed to be the cabin wall, the outside on like a steamship. I looked at lots of real photos from the time, and they were all just a white wall with like not any decoration or anything. So I did it literally like the reference images, but looks boring. So I gotta get something in here to make it a little more interesting. A little something less. Ooh, sparkle. Oh, that's kind of cool. Like this one. So this was a glitter paper that I scanned. All of these are papers that I scanned. And I made a color version and a... It's too much... It's not much different than the paper texture in the first place. Let's see what this is like. I need a little more. Something a little more. I was thinking I wanted more organic, but let's just see what the geometric patterns have. No, 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 no. Swirl. Swirl patterns. Always takes so long to load because... Oh no, that looks horrible. Oh, this is nice. Ooh. Oh, yes. That's lovely. What about this one, though? Ooh, this one nice, too. Although it kind of gives you this... They're supposed to be on a ship, and this kind of looks like they're going down. No, I think I'll do this one. Yeah, I gotta keep it big or else it's too much of a line through it. Because it's just one big square scrapbook paper that I scanned. I guess I'll just do 100 like it had. 100. Why isn't it typing? Oh no! It was frozen. That's why. Jeez, okay. Blend mode normal. Let's see what it does. Dissolve. Darken. Oh, that does nothing. Oh, it's color burn. It only goes on the color, I guess. It is cool how it looks on their clothes, but the whole point was to get it onto the background. So it's cool if it goes on their clothes, but it's supposed to be helping the background be more interesting. Difference, don't really like that. No. Luminosity. Interesting. Interesting. Makes it just sort of gray. I think these multiply ones, though, I like better. So that only changes how it looks on them. I guess I like multiply better. Linear burn. Yeah. I'll leave it on multiply. 75%? Maybe 50%. I want it to add interest, but I don't want it to be a big part of it. Okay, that was too little. Dang it. Okay. I'm gonna use the slider bar. Oh, there we go. 44. Alright. Now I gotta change the color of this. Oh, that looks much warmer. Yay. What if I colorize it? I need yellow. High saturation, because I like high saturation. And lightness. That kind of kills the shadows. But I don't want it too dark. That's pretty good. I kind of like that. Okay. I think I'll keep it like that for now. Okay. Got about 15 minutes left. So we'll see what we can do in 15 minutes. So I want to get this off of their faces. Although I wonder if I should... I'm going to make a copy of this. just in case. I'll turn it off. Just in case I don't like how it looks erased. Turn it down, softer. Yes, it's lovely, lovely, lovely. Oh wow, the dots really added a lot to it. Yeah, I think so. I've always liked the look of screen tone in manga and stuff, but I don't have the patience to create manga or comics. I've tried. That's why I like illustration, because it's a little less... what am I trying to say? It's like a little less... You're not working on... I can't explain what I'm trying to say. I don't know how to say what I'm trying to say. It's like you work on the one illustration, you like perfect that, and then done. That's kind of feeling I get. Okay, I don't really like where I erased the sleeve. I'm gonna go back from there. I do like erasing on the faces, but I like keeping this on all of the... I'm like trying to show you using my finger. Of all of the clothing and stuff. And the hair even. I'm just looking at it real quick. Maybe I will cut through... but I don't want those to stand out too much. Yeah, I'll leave the windows as they are. Why, thank you! I was thinking about how this kind of gives off a Studio Ghibli vibe. I think it's the color choice. That is like the best compliment I could ever get. Thank you so much for saying something so nice. I love Studio Ghibli. I think I'm going to put it on my Christmas wish list. I found these poster paints that are like how you can get those backgrounds that look like classic Studio Ghibli backgrounds. I was like, I want that. I want to try to paint a background using that, and then, ooh, what if I like do a digital character on the top looking like anime style? It would look like a scene from an anime. It would be so magical. I wonder if ooh, that's a good idea. I'm gonna try this. I'm thinking if I erase around here, it'll make it look like the sun is shining on it. Oh, that's too big. This would be smaller. There we go. There we go. Wow, wow, wow. I love doing that. I love putting a thing and then erasing out of it. I'm just looking at it again to like assess the overall effect. I just watched Howl's Moving Castle the other day for the first time, and it might be my favorite Studio Ghibli movie now. Ah, you have good taste. That's my favorite movie. I love that movie so much. I never get tired of watching it. I always just randomly get the soundtrack in my head, like do 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 do. Okay, I'll stop singing. But I love that movie so much, and I finally read the book last year, I think, the original book, and it was different, but it was also just as good. It was interesting because, I mean, of course it's the original book, so it's got to be good, but they went like two totally different ways of telling a similar story, but they're both awesome in their own ways. So let's see, what can I do in 10 minutes? Add warm color. Okay, I know. I need to check off some of the stuff that I've done. Hold on a second. Okay, so I have this whole list that I wrote from my critique that I received in class. So add warm texture over the top. Add to background and color. Okay. Done. Add warm color to the shadows. I think I made the whole thing warm, so I guess that counts. Add seams and rivets to the wall. I'll think about that because they don't put the seams and rivets on the outside. I don't think I can do that in this amount of time. Erase out highlights. I did that. Add darker shadows to key it. Oh, add dark gradient to the bottom. I can do that. I can do that in 7 minutes. Do you have a Twitter / Insta or anything that you post art on? Yes, I do. I have both, and they're both under Studio Mikarts, so it's the same name as my Twitch channel. So if you add me or anything, let me know it's you. Let me know it's Corona8 from Twitch, and I will follow you back so that I know who it is. How shall I do this? I can just add a gradient overlay effect. Maybe I'll try that. And it can all be on the same layer. Ah, this kind of... Gotta move my tablet again. Sort of overpowers the whole thing. It's all... Normal. Let's see. Like it totally blocks out the color. Yikes. Oh, that's kind of cool, but it totally gives the wrong vibe. It's not going for this dark looking vibe. Oh, it's cool, but it's not what I'm going for. Whoa. That's cool too, but it's still not what I'm going for. Maybe I have to put in something other than black. Alright. Let's see. What color is good? How about an orange? Oh! Oh, I love that so much. Wow. That is so cool. Okay, what if I do... What if I do a blue up here? Ah, no. Let's make it yellowish, orange, yellow. Maybe I just kind of want it to be. Well, I'll work with that for now. Let's see what vivid light. Oh, I like that hard light. Oh, I really like that hard light. Ah, it's so pretty. So pretty. Okay. Overlay. Like that texture gets lost, but I don't know if that's a problem. I don't know if it's a problem that the texture is not apparent on the top. I think it might still just add to it. Screen. Yeah, here the texture is lost on the bottom, but it's still on the top. It definitely needs to be on the bottom if it's going to be on the top. Oh, that's kind of cool too, but it's not really the vibe I'm going for. Alright, I think that hard mix, I think that's what it was. No, hard light? Yeah. Hard light. Angle. Maybe I'll make it the same angle as the windows. I don't know. I don't know. Nah, I think I'll just make it, what was that, 90? Yeah, 90. Scale. Oh yeah, make the scale as big as possible. I like it to be the most softest gradient. I wonder if I should make, okay, I think what I need to do, oops, is reduce the opacity of this. How's that? Yeah, that looks awesome. I'm gonna keep it like that. Alright, I only have 3 minutes till I need to get ready for class, so there's no more check marks I can do in 3 minutes. I'm just gonna save this, and then I shall be done with it for now, and done with streaming for now. So hopefully I'll be able to chat with you again. I try to stream once a week. Ugh, it's so hard with school though, but maybe I'll see you on Twitch or Insta too. Thank you for watching.